Okay, guys, welcome back to Let's Get Freaky podcast. I am so excited tonight because I'm welcoming back a brother, a legend, the one and only Kevin from Where the Weird Ones Are podcast. Brother, how are you, man? I've missed you. It's been too long.
Oh, I've missed you too, Tommy. It has been quite some time now. I do say, my dear boy.
I know.
It's been I think I can't even remember the last time we spoke. I think it might have been cold weather the last time we had a
I think it
conversation.
was. I think it was. And the year is nearly over already. But
Yes.
I mean, I see you every day on Instagram. So I kind of
Thank,
I feel
yeah,
like I see you
likewise.
every day.
Yeah. Yeah. I at least see I see you on YouTube, your videos. I see, your little clips and stuff on Instagram and
Yeah.
whatnot. So it's almost like I'm keeping up with you without having to keep up with you.
Yeah, you've got no choice. You've got no choice, man. I'm sorry.
Absolutely. The more people I follow, the less I see the people that I like, but you seem to be
I
very
push through.
fairly consistent on my feed. It's you, David from Down the Rabbit Hole,
Yes.
and Like Mother, Like Murder. All the three of
Yeah,
you
man.
are like the three constant people that are on my Instagram feed.
Oh, they're all great as well. But you're always on mine, man. I've got to congratulate you. You've recently had a little bubba.
I have,
Beautiful,
yes.
man. Congratulations, man. That is so cool.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
And she's an absolute spit of you. I've got to say, the picture you put on Instagram the other day, it's a mini you, man.
Unfortunately, yes, she's been
Ah,
graced with my scary looks.
yeah. No, not at all, man. She's beautiful. Congratulations,
Thank
brother.
you. Thank you, man. That means a lot.
So the
That
fact that
means a lot.
you're doing the podcast,
Hmm.
you've got the babies, you've got other babies, you're making sauces, you're doing all sorts, brother. You're working hard, man.
Yeah, I'm trying, like I said, before, we started recording, just trying to stay busy, keep my mind off of the silly things that I used to dwell on,
Hmm.
especially this time of year. My birthday's coming up, never really had, a fantastic, positive, um, experience with my birthday. It's because it's right on the same window of Thanksgiving. So we'd celebrate Thanksgiving and then everybody be like, "Oh yeah, Kevin, happy birthday." By the way,
Uh,
kind of thing. So also the seasonal depression comes in there. So like November comes up, I start feeling really down and shit and you know, I struggle with it sometimes. And then I start getting overly confident randomly once we start transitioning in December. And then January, I'll go revert back to it. And so if I keep myself busy, it's harder for me to fall into that woe is me bullshit.
yeah, no, I get what you mean, man. Because I think before I started we've talked about this before. But
Yeah.
before I started the podcast, I was in quite a down place, and you do a podcast, and as you know, it's like a full-time job. So we've got our jobs, and then the podcast is probably more than a full-time job, to be honest. But and it keeps you so busy, you haven't got time to worry about anything else.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like I'm researching stuff for like conspiracy Tuesdays. So I got my conspiracy episodes. People that I have on as guests, I look into their stuff before they come on, or at least I try to. Like authors, I'll try and see what books they've written and what they're at least about if I'm not going to read them.
Hmm.
Especially if I don't have the time to read them before they appear on the show. And yeah, it's and then the editing, making clips, putting out the
Oh man,
clips,
yeah.
putting the freaking, because then you got the video on YouTube and then you got the audio and then yeah, it's a lot. So I got the regular podcast which is similar to yours. And then I started a morning show that's live on YouTube every Sunday. So that's fun. That's also a lot of research driven. So um, and then I got my hot sauces that I make. I have a coffee company that I started. I have a supplement company that is going to be getting started. So like I'm
Man,
I'm I'm uh I'm not a health nut, but I am very conscious of being healthy and staying fit and stuff. So supplements
Mhm.
has been something that I've always wanted to get my hands into, and now it looks like it's becoming possible. I just tried the protein that I'm going to be selling the other day, and it's pretty good. I've been consuming that for about a week now, and I got to try their other stuff because it's not out available right now, but I want to try it before I I put it out because I don't want to put something out that I wouldn't take
Mhm.
myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, man.
So
Awesome,
yeah,
bro. Well, you're looking good, man. I gotta say,
thanks, buddy. I
looking
appreciate
sharp,
it.
looking sharp, brother.
Thanks. So are you. I mean, you always look good, man. With that
Ah,
beard, man, and the hats to hide the baldness, man.
I'm growing my hair back. I'm growing my hair back. I'm
Are
getting a
you?
lot. I'm getting a lot of pressure from my hair at the moment. I won't take it off because it looks terrible. I won't take my hat off, but I am growing my hair back if I
All
can.
right.
If I can.
Good,
I'm
good.
not
That'd be
sure.
interesting.
It's getting there. I will show you.
All right.
It's getting there, but it's weird. But we'll keep the hat on for now. People listening, you won't
Okay.
see. You've got to go to YouTube to see that.
Yeah.
So you're doing a lot of stuff, man, and it's awesome. It's great to see.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Killing it, brother.
You're killing it too. What are you on? 3 episodes a week now, or are you still at
Oh,
two?
two at the moment. Two at the moment.
Okay.
I would like to do three. I think when I can go, when and if I can go full time, I'll
Yeah.
do. I would like to do three. I'd love to do this. This is all I do. That's the goal. And when I can do
Yeah.
that, then I'll go 3 or 4 a week, maybe,
Yeah.
if that's
I was
possible.
do I was doing 2 a week for a little while, and then I had a couple people like cancel, and
Hmm.
then eventually it caught up to me, and I didn't have an episode for
You should have called me,
one
brother.
week.
I'll always jump
Eh,
on.
I know, but I didn't try to get anybody on last minute, and I just put out the audio for the morning show instead.
Hmm.
Um and that's what I rolled with, and then yeah, and now I'm starting to fill up again for I mean I'm in January right now. So
Awesome, man. But your show's awesome, brother. I'm not just saying it because you're here. It is awesome. So people need to check it out. Where the weird ones are. It is
thanks.
fire. Always good,
Thanks.
man.
I
So,
listen to you every week, dude.
ah,
And it not only because I'm in the intro, but because
yeah, you're on every
I
episode.
enjoy I enjoy I enjoy you as a personality,
Ah,
you know, and it's interesting to listen to you conversate with people about their experiences, and it you do a good job, man. You do a
I
good job.
appreciate that, man. Thank you. Thank you. You
You're
give me
welcome.
goosebumps, brother. You give me goosebumps.
Oh, stop it.
The bromance is here. So last time, I think you've been on the show quite a few times now. I've been on your show. We've done other shows together. It feels like we've done a lot of shows together. Last time you was on here, you had just been was it chased by a uh you was sorry, there's so many different paranormal experiences going in my head. You was chased by a shadow figure, that's it. You was
Y-
a shadow figure came at you the last time we spoke. Is
Yeah,
that
yeah.
right?
Yes, you're correct. She came
Yes.
into my bedroom and she was very voluptuous, the outline and everything. Obviously, couldn't see details, long flowing hair. But she moved like a robot. Like the best way that I can explain it was like C3PO or something like that, or like you said in that episode, like the nurses from Silent Hill.
Yeah, oh man.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Uh,
last minute, friggin' she was like about to get on my bed because I was in a state of paralysis.
mhm.
And I was just wiggling my fingers trying to grab my phone, and I could only move my eyes. I couldn't turn my head. I could only move my eyes and wiggle my fingers. And then, like, she was about to get on my bed, and I was just like, grabbed my phone and was able to light up. And holy shit! And then out of that comes my favorite. This is so I use this all the time. I actually put it on a t-shirt. Um, so like I'm sitting there sweating, my heart's racing. I'm just like, holy fuck, that was scary. But and then I was like, I have to pee. Fuck, I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to go out there in the darkness. I walk to the doorway and I'm like, if you have negative intentions in the name of Jesus, get the fuck out of here. And I know that's not really Christ-like to talk, but that's how I said it. Um, and then I jumped out because there's like a little area of the hallway to where my daughter's bedroom is, and then the stairs are to my right, and I jumped to my left and I karate chopped the air because everybody knows karate chops kill ghosts.
Yeah.
So I put that on a shirt.
Yes.
Chops kill ghosts. Because I say that all the time now, and I was like, you know what? That's a good thing to put on a t-shirt. I'm gonna put it on a
That is a
t-shirt.
good thing. Yeah. You got a lot of cool t-shirts, man. People need to check them out. You got a lot of cool
But
t-shirts. The one you're wearing now
thanks,
is really
man.
cool as well. I need to
Yeah,
order that.
I got so I'll show you the back of it real quick.
That is fire. Oh, down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Love that. That's cool, brother.
So so it's got the rabbit on the back and it says in red lettering, it says, "Let me show you how deep the rabbit hole goes." Because I love conspiracies.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
talk about them all the time.
Well, we're gonna get into conspiracies tonight as well. That is for sure.
All
Yeah,
right.
man.
I'm diggity
So
down.
so since the last time we've talked, have you had any more paranormal experiences? Anything else happened that
I
stands out?
haven't. I haven't
Interesting.
actually, which is really cool. Actually, you want to know what I will say? I was driving, it was like a month or two ago. I was driving down the highway for work. I was in my work truck. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning. And I'm probably about 2, maybe 3 miles away from my exit, and I see this string of lights in the sky. Like it looked like a building upside down. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like the one that you saw.
yeah,
And I see this thing because it's like, and it also like at was like I was like, is that a fucking? I'm like, that can't be the fucking International Space Station. There's too many lights. Um, and then I'm looking at it, and it kind of there, and it also kind of like the way it went. So it's upside down, and it kind of goes, and then it tears off to the right at the top. So it's almost like a dangling Christmas light too at the same time, like a bunch.
hmm,
And I'm looking at it and I'm like, what the hell is that? And I'm watching it and I was like, oh, that's a reflection on the windshield, right? From the lights inside the truck. And then I go by these trees and the lights go away. So like whatever, like that part of the sky is blocked out. And I was like, all right, that's not a reflection in the windshield. So and I get past the trees and I can still see it. And I was like, oh man. And so I'm trying to get like a good look at it. Obviously, I'm on the highway. I'm not going to just like pull off right on the highway. So I get onto my exit, and as soon as I get off on the exit, it's gone. I'm like, where'd it go? Like I'm looking, I was watching it as I came off the exit, and then as I went through that little like toll booth thing, like the roof of it and
hmm.
stuff, I came out on the other side, and it was gone. And I was like, where the fuck did it go? And I'm
Whoa.
looking all over the place, and it was gone.
Was
I didn't see it for the rest of the morning.
wow. So was it dark when this happened?
Yeah, it was pitch dark.
Man, how I know it's difficult, but how big would you say it was?
Oh fuck. I mean, it depends on how far it was, you know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
um, if it's like on the cusp of our atmosphere, this thing could have been the size of like an Empire State Building, to be honest with you. Like there were so
Whoa.
many lights on this thing.
Wow.
And I know like the couple of times that we've talked, the UFOs have always been the one thing that I've never really seen. I've never really seen anything in the sky that I couldn't explain, and that has been the first thing. I don't know what it is. Like nothing happened to me like physically or anything.
Missing time.
No missing time. I was still freaking did my job and everything went fine, and yeah, I don't know. It was really
Interest.
it was yeah, as the minute I saw it, I was like, this kind of looks like the thing that Tommy said that he saw. Like it was a
Yeah.
building. It looked like a building full of like lit up in the sky to me.
Wow, man. See, when I saw mine, it was during the day. It was a blue sky, and it was
Yeah.
just like this, as I say, building floating, and it was like orange and silver. And I didn't see it move, didn't see it disappear or anything like that, but it was just there. And we started playing football again. Like we was playing football at the time. But man, that's a cool thing that you
Yeah.
saw there, brother. Are
Yeah.
you?
I meant to fucking text you right after I saw it too.
Yeah.
And I never did. And I do not, to this day, I have no idea why. Because it was like 2 months ago, I think. It was, yeah,
Wow.
it was about a month or two ago.
Definitely didn't have missing time.
I did not have
Did you
miss.
check the radio?
I wish I did so that I could be like something happened to me. I was abducted, but I don't think it's I don't whatever it was, it wasn't there for me. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yeah.
So
Interesting. Yeah. That is interesting, man.
that is. So that's probably the only thing that has happened since the last time we talked. My son has become wicked religious out of nowhere.
Hmm.
That's a new development. And he started experiencing stuff once he started turning to religion.
Interesting.
So
So your son's quite young, isn't he?
yeah, he'll be 16 in 2 weeks.
Wow. What sort of thing, if you don't mind, what sort of things is he experiencing? If you don't
But
mind
it's just
sharing
like
it.
kind of like minor things. He said he's been seeing shadow figures. And he has some stuffed animals that he's kept for like um sentimental reasons and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Um, and he keeps them on his bed. He keeps them lined up on his bed. It's almost like a security thing where he likes it's if I replaced it with a body pillow, he'd probably be just as happy. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but so he has all these. He keeps them. He's very like OCD. Like he has to have things in a certain way. So he has them all lined up, and they're sitting the way they're like made to sit. You know what I mean? And there was one night he went upstairs and all of a sudden I hear I'm in the living room and I'm like he goes, Dad? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, there's something wrong. And I'm like, what? And he comes running down the stairs and he's like, my stuffed animal is sitting in the center of my bed. And I go, oh, okay. And he goes, like perfectly sitting in the center of my bed. And I go, and he goes, I didn't put it there. And I go, all right, I'll have to go look at this. I was like, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, fuck. I was
Hmm.
like, something moved it. And then I go, well, it could have been the dog getting on your bed or something like that. But for the dog to move it and for it to be sitting the way it's supposed to sit properly in the center of his bed is really weird. So
Man.
I mean, I hope that nothing negative. Like, obviously, I feel like whatever it is messing with him, trying like trickster, like kind of stuff because he's turning to God. And he prays all the time. He says, he just got himself a little mini Bible. I've never put any of this
That's
stuff in
cool,
his
man.
head
Yeah.
either. I've never forced him to believe in anything particular. If they have questions, I'll be like, well, it could be this, it could be that. Like I don't push any like certain
Mhm.
thing
Yeah.
onto them. So,
That's
but yeah,
interesting, though, man.
it's very like because he's never seen anything. I mean, he's been very scared of the dark and stuff like that naturally that as we can't see in the dark, so naturally all of us have grown up being at least a little bit scared of the
Hmm.
darkness. I mean, there's times where I still at freaking almost
Oh
36 years
man,
old, I'm scared
same.
of the fucking dark.
Same, brother.
So
I'm scared of it. I've said many times if I'm on my own and the wife's away or whatever, I've got the telly on or some sort of light on or a podcast playing. So because I just don't like being in the dark. So I get it, man. I know it. It's not the coolest thing to admit, but it is what it is.
hey man, I mean, being true to yourself. Everybody has times where they're scared of the dark. And there's no way that nobody is. I mean, maybe somebody does not get scared of the dark, but I mean, I
They're
don't know.
weird.
I feel like everybody has those moments where they like look around just to make sure there's nothing else in the area when they're in the darkness.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
that's
And,
that's how
and
I
if they
feel. So
don't, there's something not right with them.
yeah, they might be fucking psychopaths. They might be the people standing in the dark waiting for you to come into
Yeah.
the dark room.
Yes. But that's interesting though, that your son's gone on this spiritual journey and he's
Yeah.
starting to get these experiences. I find that interesting.
Yeah, me too. Me
Yeah,
too.
man. Keep us posted, man. Keep us posted. Because that's the scary thing. Like with my kids as well, they've recently been experiencing stuff, and that worries me. That does worry me when the kids experience. That's why I'm in this room. This was their bedroom, um, when we first moved to this house, and they were experiencing weird stuff in this room. So I was like, let's get them out of there. I think I talked on
Hmm.
your show about that,
Yeah.
and now I'm in here, and weird stuff does happen. Um, but I don't mind it happening to me. To them, I don't like it so much, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'd rather it happen to me than to the kids for sure.
Hmm.
My daughter hasn't really experienced anything. She saw a shadow figure on my bed one time when she was walking past my doorway. And it was standing on my bed, and she passed my room, like kind of like glimpsed in there, sort of saw it, kept walking, and then she's like stopped and was like, wait a minute, and then backtracked and looked back in, and it was gone. So she told me that story. Actually, I had the kids on for an episode on my podcast too. We talked about uh, all of these stories actually.
Hmm.
And my son kind of clued us into I mean, he doesn't really have a reason. He just started believing in God out of nowhere.
Well, that's
And he
cool.
talks about it all the time.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Do they listen to other episodes? Is that something that worries you that they're going to listen to other episodes? And because both our podcasts that they can get crazy. Like we're talking
Yes.
about
Yeah.
some wild conversations.
Yeah. My son listens to my podcast. He listens to the majority. He hasn't listened to all of them, but he listens to a lot. He's listened to a lot of them. And Yeah, I don't know. I think he's excited because I'm on YouTube and stuff like that, and he's trying to grow his YouTube channel and all that, which actually, speaking of, for your listeners and your
Yes,
YouTube viewers, if
get
you're
it out there,
interested
man.
in watching some kid play video games I mean, his videos aren't fucking extenuous. They're probably like a minute long, maybe two.
Hmm.
But Raptor Rex, and that's the Rex is WRECKS on YouTube.
Awesome,
Look
man.
for the little kid with a controller in his hand wearing a dinosaur costume. That's his logo.
That's cool, man. Well, if you
Yeah.
send me the link for that, I'll add that in the show description as well. That's cool. My boy and my girls, they love watching gaming on YouTube. That is their thing. Like they can sit and watch game Minecraft and whatever the games they play
Eh.
and watch all day if they could. They are they love it. Man. I mean, I
Yeah,
do
I
as
don't-
well.
I mean, I guess it's sort of I do, but at the same time I don't because
Mhm.
I'd rather be the one playing. Like if
Yeah,
I watch
yes.
somebody play, especially so my son does watch. There's a few people that he watches, and sometimes he'll watch them in the living room, and that's fine. We're a living room family, you know. My kids don't want to be in their bedrooms when they're at my house. We
Hmm.
all hang out in the living room. That's our happy place. If we're not home, we're out doing stuff. The minute we get home, they might go drop stuff off in their room and they're immediately in the living room with us,
That's
with
awesome.
me and everything. So, the only time, and the weird thing is too, is that night when I'm like, all right, guys, I'm going to bed. They're like, oh, me too. And they shut the TV off in the living room and they go
Ah,
right to bed as I go to bed. I'm like, it's kind of neat. But,
that is.
um, fuck, now I forget what the fuck I was gonna say
The
before I
gaming.
went into that.
The
The gaming.
gaming.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Some of the people that I'll be sitting there watching and they'll be doing something. I'm like,
Yeah.
kind of like I'll like even do this too with my hands. I'll hold my hands
Yeah.
like I'm holding a controller. I'm like, you're doing
No.
it wrong. You're not supposed to do that.
The thing is, I'll do that. I'll do that as well. But I'm so crap at games, so I'm probably judging them for whatever they're doing. I'd be terrible if I was doing it. So I'm a bit of a hypocrite. But I can
Yeah.
watch. I can watch it for a little while, like 10, whatever, 10 minutes, whatever. But the kids can watch it. That's their main thing. They love watching games. So I think it's just
Yeah,
that generation, our kids' generations now,
true,
that
true.
that's
Yeah,
what they enjoy, it seems.
yeah. Though I will say that one YouTube group that he watches called The Boys. Two of them are Australian, and the rest of them are Americans. They're pretty fun to watch.
Hmm.
I don't mind watching them. They make it pretty entertaining. So,
That's cool, man.
and they became rich off of it. So, and
Yeah.
I think that's what my son's like aspiring to be.
There's some of these YouTube stars now, man. It's just
There's a
because
lot.
I didn't really want to do the YouTube at first. I'll be honest. I wasn't because
I don't
when I
I
started
don't
YouTube, I put an episode on, and they took it off because something was said that they didn't like, and I didn't even. There's still not a massive following on the YouTube, but they took off this episode, and I was like, you know what? I don't want that. I don't want uh, to be able to not be able to say what I want to say or what the guest wants to say. I like the free speech, and for me, that was like, I'm not sure if I should be doing the YouTube, but now I'm getting back into it. Touchwood, not had any
yeah,
problems, and it seems to be okay. It seems to be getting
yeah,
better.
yeah. I've had one video get pulled from YouTube, so I just put it on Rumble instead.
Hmm.
Um, but so far they haven't struck me yet. But maybe that you have more subscribers than I do on YouTube, so maybe that's why.
I don't know, man. I mean, I do the YouTube. I know I enjoy doing the YouTube now. The community is growing on the YouTube.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, and I'm going to start putting older episodes on the YouTube as well, because obviously when I started Let's Get Freaky, a lot of the episodes are not on YouTube. So I'm going to start putting older ones on YouTube now, see if they get hits.
yeah,
I've got some conspiracy episodes that might get hits, but we'll see.
yeah,
Um,
maybe.
it does seem to be getting a little bit better. I don't know if they've sort of changed the strictness, or I know there's certain words that can't be said and certain topics that you really can't touch, but I don't know, it seems
Yeah,
to be getting a little bit better, hopefully.
the one episode that I this woman we were talking about chakras and shit, right? And she started talking about an article that she had read. So literally she's just talking about she's not saying that it's for she's like, this is what I read. So, blah 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 about, the thing,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
and so, and they told me they took it down and they emailed me, told me why they took it down, and then gave me a list of things that I cannot say on my own YouTube channel. So it was anything, literally anything, if it was negative about the
Yeah.
if it was a negative of anything, if it wasn't positive, they were going to take it out. And then the 2020 election was also anything that discredits that, any kind of conspiracy, blah, 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 blah. I wasn't allowed to talk
Whoa.
about. Like literally, they gave me specific things that I could not say about it and about both of them, both subjects. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, see that? Yeah. That's scary, isn't it?
Yeah, so
That's what,
I can't even say my opinion on either things.
yeah,
Like,
and that was the thing. And I think that's what at the time why mine got took down, because we was literally talking about opinions. It wasn't even like facts or,
yeah,
and people know, like, there's with this sort of stuff, there is going to be false information out there, but it's on both sides anyway, So I
yeah,
think
right,
it evens out. But yeah, man, that's what I didn't like at first, because I like free speech. I think you should be able to say what you want. Obviously, some things kids can't see. I get that. Like kids
right.
can't see certain things, and that I 100% understand that. But
That's why they have that spot in your when you make your videos. Is this for
hmm.
children or
Yeah,
no?
yeah,
And you always click no. One time I forgot to click no, and they gave me another fucking strike for it.
really.
And they go, this episode is not for kids. If this was not for kids, you were supposed to click not for kids. I was like, holy fuck, sorry that I missed that fucking one thing out of
Yeah.
the million things that I have to click to fucking submit the video. Like,
Ah. This will be on YouTube, hopefully. So we're sorry, YouTube. We love you. Thank you. Let's hope that we can start saying
you
more
could do a
things.
bit better.
Yes. Yeah. Let's say what we want, man, and we'll post more stuff. Talking of conspiracies on YouTube, did you watch we talked about it the other day because we had to reschedule this, and thank you very much for doing that, brother.
Yep.
The Tyson Jake Paul fight. What did you think, man? Well, this is a very fresh subject.
I think Tyson was paid to hold back.
Same. Yeah.
So, I mean, like, listen, the the night before when he slapped him, or the day 2 days before, which, however, when he fucking slapped Paul, like,
Because he stepped on
I
his
could,
toe.
yeah, I could tell, like, in his face, in his eyes, he was kind of dazed, and then he tried to act like it was nothing, right?
hmm
He
hmm
definitely felt that, and I think he might have been like, "Oh shit, maybe, maybe I don't know." I think, but what I do think is that the whole entire time Tyson was supposed to lose. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
think Tyson knew that he was supposed to lose and stuff like that. And there was so many opportunities that I've looked in the first round. The first round was the realest that you could get. Like, I know Tyson, he even came out and said that he had all these health issues back in June and stuff, and that's why they had to postpone the fight to begin with and stuff like that. Like that's obviously real and everything, but I do think that um I think Jake Paul was scared, and I think he did it for the money. And they made a lot of money.
Yeah,
They made
man.
a shit ton of fucking
A
money.
lot of money. I'd go in the
Yeah,
ring with both of them for half of that.
yeah,
For
right.
less than half.
Uh, for a quarter of that, I'd get in the ring with them. You know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah.
I would do one round with Tyson, 1 3 minute round, and tell him to fucking unleash holy hell on me, and I would take a quarter of that money. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
for
Like,
sure, man.
man, I used to cage fight, so I like it's
Wow.
wild to me. I could, like, when in that first round, Jake Paul was open, and
hmm
fucking Tyson, is blocking. He has his hand up to his left, and he kind of like lunges forward with his, like, he was gonna give him that uppercut, his famous uppercut that he fucking knocked so many people out with, and he
Yeah.
fucking stopped it. He went like that and he stopped.
Yeah.
Twice he did that. Twice
Yeah.
Jake Paul left himself open for the fucking uppercut, and
Yeah.
and Tyson moved for it but didn't take it, and he did the big
Man.
and
Yeah.
everything. He looked fucking amazing in that first round, and the rest of the rounds he was biting his fucking glove
Yeah. He
because
wanted to
he's
kill
like,
him.
he wanted to kill him.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. I mean, that's how I felt watching the fight. Like, firstly,
Yeah,
I was really annoyed that I stayed up for it because it was a bit of a letdown. The fight before, the ladies
yeah.
before,
Oh my God.
unreal fight.
Yeah, and the welterweight championship was fucking amazing
Yes.
too. That
Yeah.
was awesome. The
They were some great
was
fights.
stupid as fuck too.
hmm
The first fight was just as lame as the headline,
I missed
but
that. I didn't see that, but I
that
saw the
was,
two before.
yeah. So the first fight was, well, so when I turned it on, and they're like, I'm like, there's fucking three fights. I was like, when Conor McGregor and fucking Mayweather fought, there was only one fight before them. Am I gonna wait through three fucking fights? You kidding me?
I
A
know.
quarter,
And it kept
quarter of
buffering
the
every now and
morning.
again. Kept
Oh
buffering. I was
my
like,
God.
ah. And I didn't
I
know. I didn't know it was happening to everyone. I thought it was just me. And I was like, why is my Netflix so crap?
I'm good with my internet, right? And I kept trying to refresh it, and I'd back out and go back into it. There was
Yeah.
one point where I grabbed my phone, and I mean, my no, the remote, and I wanted to fucking throw it across the room so bad. And I'm like, I just sat there and I was like,
How many
then
people do you think done that? Like,
it's
not realizing.
probably a lot of people. And then we pulled it up on the phone, and it worked fine on the phone.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. I just had to keep coming out and going back in, coming out and going. It was really annoying. But
Yeah, that's really annoying.
yeah, man. But like you said, it felt like Tyson for me, and I'm not a fight expert, but it felt like Tyson was holding back. It felt like he
Yes.
wasn't fully good, and it felt like Jake Paul was a little bit as well. Like, it felt like they both were going easy on each other. It was quite frustrating. It felt like they could have given more. But it's interesting you're saying about Tyson biting his glove. Was that because he was like, "Oh, I don't want to just unleash on this man"?
That's what I think. And there's a theory out there that he was biting it to tell Jake Paul to slow down. Um,
Interesting. Did you see as well? There was a point where Tyson catches Jake Paul, and Jake Paul sort of pokes his tongue out, and he does this thing, and it seemed like, well, like I didn't see it at the time, but when you watch the replay and people are
he rocked
explaining,
him.
he
He
rocked him,
rocked him.
and it was like Jake Paul saying, "Hey, slow down. Like, remember what we're here for. We're not actually going to hurt each other." That's what
Yeah,
it felt like. Maybe not, but that's how it felt, and that's what other people were saying.
yeah. Well, he clocked him in the jaw, and then he fucking opened his mouth. I went like that, and I think he
Hmm.
fucking he hurt his jaw,
Yeah,
and he might have just. I mean, it might have been like a tell to be like, "Don't hit me that hard again," kind of thing.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, it's really hard to fight a fight when you're fighting the promoter. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because you might want to fight again for him, or you want to keep
You're
him
right.
happy. You're going to make 20
Right.
million pounds. You want to keep him happy and fight his brother maybe next.
Exactly. Exactly. That fucking, I would love to listen. I would love to see both of them get knocked out.
Hmm.
You know, I
Yeah,
mean, when Jake Paul fought somebody his actual age and who was also a boxer,
yeah.
he
Tommy
lost.
Tommy Fury. Yeah.
He lost.
Hmm.
Yeah. Nate Diaz, not a fucking boxer. He's a UFC fighter. He's the 3 round guy. Fucking and go fucking and he couldn't do the things that he's good at. He could only punch you. Like, come
Hmm.
on now. Obviously you're gonna take that. Anderson Silva, retired fighter, you know.
Yeah.
Woodley, also a retired fighter.
Hmm.
Um,
Well,
who
they're
else did he
talking about.
fucking fight?
He didn't fight KSI, did he? But that was the other one. That was Logan, wasn't it? Did he fight
No,
KSI? I don't think he
I
did.
don't I don't think
They've
so.
talked about it, but I don't think they've. No.
I would like to see him fight Ryan Garcia.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be cool.
I think
Yeah.
I think he I think Jake Paul would have to drop weight for that though.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're
So I
talking
don't,
about Conor McGregor. Um, what's his name? Tate. Forgot his name. Andrew Tate. He's called him out. I think he would kill him. I think
Andrew Tate.
that would
Andrew
be.
Tate would kill him, yeah.
Yeah.
That he's a world champion
Yeah.
kickboxer.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I think
So
that would be an interesting one.
yeah, that would be. It would be. Khabib called him out. He said that if Tyson loses, that he wants to fight Jake Paul. Um,
Wow.
yeah, Khabib's an older guy too.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Man. Well, me,
very
me,
very
me and
interesting.
Kevin, we'll also throw our name in the hat. Jake Paul, if you want it, we're ready. Let's go. And Tyson, we'll take you both
I'm
on.
not I'm not ready, but if it gives me money, lots of money, I
Yeah,
will
that
do it.
that kind of money, we're there, 100%.
With the, I will walk there if I have to, wherever the ring is.
I will take the beating for sure.
It might take me a month to get there, but I will get there.
We also had during that before the fight, we had that weird possible ritual. What do they call it? That when we saw Mike Tyson's bum,
Yeah. Yeah, it's so they're
the
calling it like the humiliation
that's
ritual.
it, that's it.
You
Yeah.
know, that it was all meant to humiliate the legend. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So the whole thing, like the
That
whole
was weird.
setup, the
That
showing
was
first of all, showing him watching him walk away
very
um
strange.
in the locker room was a weird thing for the cameraman to do, I
Yeah,
think.
that was really
Um
weird. It went a
and
little bit
then
WWE at that point. It was a little bit
yeah,
WWE,
yeah, yeah.
which I
I don't
like,
I,
but
I mean, whatever. I mean, it's not a bad thing. I mean, it's an ass is an ass, but like,
that was
you know,
strange. That was
it
really
was
strange.
it was really weird, and I was just like, we were like, whoa, what?
Yeah, I was just as soon as I see that, I was like, that is going to be a meme
It
forever.
is, and now it is. And then him losing, saying that he's gonna win this whole time, and you could tell like his walk down. He got to the stairs and then he was a little I think there was something wrong with his knee.
Hmm.
there was definitely times where, you know, you could see like he wanted to pursue Jake Paul across the ring, but he just couldn't, I don't
Hmm.
think. But
Yeah.
also I also but after the first round, the way he was moving, and he did pursue Paul. He did pursue him pretty good in the first round. So I wonder if the knee brace was put on to make it seem like he should not be able to move as
Hmm.
good as he actually does. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, man.
So,
It
I mean,
was.
just looking at his training videos just a couple years ago, like 2 or 3 years ago, the ferocity, man, like
Yeah.
from that to what we saw
Hmm.
Friday night,
Yeah. Yeah,
completely different.
100%, 100%, man. And they kept going on about it. I know, like he's an older guy. You know, he's 58, but he's still in great shape, man. You know, you
He
still
is he's in very
take a
good shape.
punch from him at all. So
Yeah, I feel really bad for him. And I know that he's not somebody that wants pity at all in any kind of way, and I know
Mhm,
that I'm the same way. You know, I've come to really like have like empathy and like love for the guy, even though I've never met him or anything
mhm,
and I don't know him personally, but listening to him on his podcast, on Joe Rogan's podcast, on other podcasts that he's been on, just talking about his life and his journey and the things that he's overcome. Like
mhm,
he's really wise for somebody
mhm.
that has been through the shit that he's been through.
100%, man. Yeah, 100%. There was a time where I used to live in Brentwood in Essex in the UK. There was a funny little nightclub that was in our main town, and it was
Hmm.
only a small little town, but it got famous from a reality TV show called Towie, which you probably won't have no idea, and you shouldn't know about it because it's not a great show. But I'm sorry for anyone that likes Towie. Anyway, so this nightclub got quite famous. It was called Sugar Hut, and Mike Tyson was one night randomly a special guest in this nightclub. And I just remember seeing Mike Tyson's in town, man. I mean, I never actually saw him, but it was just like wild to think that Mike Tyson was in little old Brentwood and he was going to do a night in our local nightclub. Never got to meet him,
Wow.
unfortunately, but yeah,
Wow, that's cool. That's
he's a
cool.
cool dude. Yeah, man.
He is. I like him a lot.
Yeah.
Um, he used to have a cartoon show. Did you know that?
No, did
It,
he?
yeah, it was called Tyson and Friends. It was like
Oh,
a
man.
playoff. It was like a playoff Scooby-Doo kind of thing. It was very like it was a lot like Scooby-Doo in a way.
Wow. I need to check that out. That must still be on
Yeah,
YouTube.
I'm
Talking to
sure it
YouTube.
is. I'm sure it is. I used to watch it. It was like early 2000s or late 2000s, something like
Oh
that.
man, I'm going to get on that for sure. Now we're going to talk about other conspiracies tonight. That was an interesting one. Um, what was that other conspiracy you wanted to chat about? There was another one we was going to talk about.
Yeah, so I have notes on this one because I did an episode on it.
Mhm.
So have you do you know who Thomas Edison is?
Yes, yeah, 100%.
Um yeah, so you're welcome UK for your lights because that was an American invention, just so you know. Um so Thomas Edison, he was born February 1847. He passed away October 18, 1931.
Hmm.
Um he was pretty close to fucking 100. He developed many devices in fields such as electric power generation, mass communication, sound recording, and motion picture, specifically the phonograph, motion picture cameras, and the light bulb. He was also self-educated in the realm of um, inventions. So he used to, when he was a kid, he used to sell newspapers and he was like pretty charismatic. He would ride
Hmm.
the like the trains and shit and he'd sell people newspapers and he got pretty good at it. And he ended up I think at 14 or 15 he became um the what the fuck is that called? The Morse code, you know,
Hmm.
how he was an engineer for that, and he got really good at it, I guess. He was like, everybody's like, oh, have you seen this kid fucking um Thomas Edison? He's fucking so good at this shit. Like, wow, wow. Put him on a poster. He's a star, kind of thing. Um,
Do you know what is
but
really weird? Sorry to cut you off, but you
no,
know
go
what is,
ahead.
and I just tried to find it, but I couldn't find it. This one, I didn't know you was going to bring up Thomas Edison. This is really weird. You're gonna be like, yeah, whatever, man. You listened to my last episode, but this is weird. I didn't know. I watched a documentary on Thomas Edison at the start of this week, just because
No shit.
I'm interested in history and stuff, and that came up, and I just watched it, and that's really weird, man, that you brought this up today. So I'm just like, people gonna be like, yeah, whatever, man. You knew. I had no idea you was going to bring up Thomas Edison today. So just thought I had to throw that in there.
That's fucking awesome. It's synchronicity, first of all. So I recorded another Conspiracy Tuesday episode, which will be my 16th Conspiracy Tuesday. So for your listeners and viewers, I do a Conspiracy Tuesday, which is like a round table where we talk about a specific conspiracy and we get different perspectives on it. So this Conspiracy Tuesday 16 has David from Down the Rabbit Hole and One Nothing Podcast and my buddy Oren from Bizarre Encounters, and we talk about the missing colony from Roanoke, North Carolina,
Hmm.
and then so we did that Saturday morning, and then today, this morning, Sunday morning, I do my morning show, Weird Java in the morning, also with David, and I do this day through history. So today is November 17th. And there was two people that were a few actually there was a few people that were involved in the Roanoke colony conspiracy episode that were on had something about them in this day in history on
Wow.
November 17th, the day after I recorded about that.
How
So it
weird
was
is
really
that?
interesting. Yeah. So I'm going through it and I see this guy's name, Walter Raleigh is his name. So Raleigh, North Carolina took his last name. Um, I saw that and I was like, what the fuck? And then I started reading. I'm like, is this the same guy? And I started reading about him and stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, this is the fucking same guy we were just talking about.
That's wild.
It is.
It's
It is
weird,
because
man.
yeah, he went on this day, November 17th in history, and um let's see. I have it in this notebook because this is my weird Java notebook. Um 1603, Walter Raleigh, an English explorer, poet, and writer, goes on trial for treason, accused of being involved in a conspiracy to overthrow the new King James in an attempt to replace him with Arabelle Stewart.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's wild, man.
yeah.
See, I don't believe in coincidences. I really don't. Especially
Me
since doing
neither.
this podcast. Like, there's too many. That's weird.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
Interesting.
fucking it's wicked interesting.
Mm.
Um,
How does that
but
happen, man?
I don't know.
It's freaky.
It's it's like God put you on a path and you're just following it, and
Yeah,
that's what you're supposed to be doing. That's what
100%,
it
man.
kind of feels like,
Yeah, for
you know?
sure. Yeah, man. So going back to this, I really interrupted you. The Thomas
No, it's fine.
Edison.
It's totally fine. Um, yeah, so Thomas Edison, he's self-educated and shit. He starts becoming an inventor in his older years as he gets older. Um, he invents a two-way uh Morse code thing. I fucking forget what the I thought I wrote down what it's actually called, but I fucking maybe I'm a little retarded.
It's like we was
Which
talking
you
before. My writing is terrible, so I write stuff down and I can't read it.
yeah, I feel you on that. The phonograph. There we go. I did write it down. It's right here. It's right here,
Yes.
guys. It's right here in my notes. Phonograph. I don't know why I kept wanting to say the sonograph, and I'm like, that's not right. That's not right. I know that's not right. Um, but yeah, so he invented a two-way phonograph, and he started becoming like this big time inventor. He was going to the UK to England and stuff, and doing these like shows about his inventions and all that shit. So, have you ever heard of a gentleman named Louis Le Prince?
I'm not sure, but I'm shocking with names. So
All,
who possibly
all right.
Louis the Prince? I should know that though. It sounds like you would know that if you knew it.
Yeah, so one he's a French inventor and artist. So Thomas Edison is credited with being the inventor of motion pictures, right? So the round hay garden scene, you can look it up. Or just round hay garden scene. It's like a 2-second video. It was shot in October 14th, 1888. And short film was shot by Louis Le Prince, born August 28th, 1841. So this guy, Le Prince, he had spent years tinkering with his camera in the hopes to bring in a new era of art and cinematic engineering, and it did. So why isn't Louis Le Prince a household name? So a Frenchman who also worked in the UK and US culminated his motion picture experiment in 1888 in Leeds, England, shooting the Round Hay Garden scene that consisted of a few of his family members. I believe it was his wife, his son, and his grandmother. Um, and he used his single lens camera and Eastman's paper negative film. The shot clip showed his, like I said, his son, um, while they were walking through the garden. Within the next 18 months, he also made a film of the Leeds Bridge. Louis would disappear September 16th, 1890, on his way to the first public display of his camera here in the United States in New York. So he was supposed to be doing that. Many people now credit Thomas Edison of being the inventor of the motion picture. So how did that come to be? So in 1890, Edison had begun experimenting with a strip of celluloid film to capture moving images, which the first public display of these experiments were shown in May of 1891. But it was, to be honest with you, this is my problem with Thomas Edison. He had so many people working with him. He didn't actually invent half the shit that he invented.
Oh
People
man,
working for him invented it.
yeah.
So the actual inventor of his Thomas Edison's camera is William Kennedy Dixon. Um, he did the work on Edison's camera, and he doesn't get any credit for it. I mean, I mean,
Wow.
like Wikipedia says that they worked on it together, and there was a third guy supposedly. Edison became a patent machine. He would eventually hold. Guess how many fucking patents this guy had
A
that he
lot.
owned? He
I don't
had
know.
1,093.
Whoa.
That's a lot of fucking patents
It's a lot.
for very few inventions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, so he would often like do get these patents and for to like beat out his competitors. Like he
Hmm.
knew other people were working on like similar things or the same thing kind of. So he would go out and get this patent. I think a lot of the patents came before the fucking invention was even invented.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow.
He would do anything to be first. But would he kill? Do you think Thomas Edison had it in him to kill? I mean, he did kill an elephant for
Man.
the world to see.
I've
He
got to
killed.
say, none of this was in the documentary I watched this week. They didn't talk about him killing
Uh,
elephants.
uh, they didn't talk about him killing elephants.
I don't think so.
That was one of his experiments for electricity. He even filmed it. So there's a video of him killing an elephant.
Maybe they
It was
did, but I
like
don't remember.
uh, he like electrocuted it or whatever because they were trying to
Wow.
see how powerful it was. So,
Hmm.
but in 1890, so Le Prince was he was in France visiting his brother. They were going over like some family stuff. Their mother died and all this. So they were just trying to iron out the details of the mother's estate and stuff like who gets the house, who gets this money, like how much this and that, how they're gonna go proceed forward with everything. So he was supposed to leave from there. He was getting on the train. He was going to go to Paris and meet some friends. So the train arrived in Paris, and his friends are like, "Where the fuck is Louis?" So he obviously never made it to New York either. So like he was last seen with this briefcase, and the briefcase was supposedly holding the patents for his camera. Um, So he never made it to Paris. His family and friends started looking for him. So his wife would contact his brother, and his brother would say, I put him on the train. I don't, that was it. I will file a police report and stuff for a missing person. So he did that, or supposedly did that. Um, so she's like, she is made a missing persons here in America and stuff. Then he's never been found. They don't know where he was. So
Oh.
it's um it's really interesting. Louis Le Prince's his father was an artillery major in the French army.
Hmm.
Um when Louis was growing up, he spent a lot of time in the studio with a close friend of his father's who was a photographer, and that's where he picked up the interest in photography and art and everything, and that's how he met his wife. So his wife went to university for for art major and stuff like that. So they were very an artistic family, artistic couple.
Hmm.
Um, and then it was it was in 1898. Um, Thomas Edison was brought to trial for his patents, and they so Louis LePrince the LePrince family were fighting because like the year after. So it was 1889 when Le Prince was supposed to give the showcase for his motion picture camera, and then
Hmm.
in 1890 Thomas Edison comes out with a motion picture camera. So Le Prince's wife was like, "What the fuck?
Whoa.
This isn't cool. Like this is my husband's fucking shit, right?"
Yeah.
So she starts making us think about it and everything like that. And in 1898, they go to trial and everything like that. And Le Prince's son, Adolphe, was actually like was on the stand as a witness. My father did this. The Round Hay Garden film. It was 1888 when that was filmed, and Thomas Edison's freaking camera wasn't done until 1890, 2 years after. So it was it, it was also that same year. So they ended up getting through the trial process, and they found Thomas Edison not guilty. They said he had a patent on the motion picture. There's no patent for the Le Prince motion picture, but um, that was supposedly one of the things that Le Prince had. So they should have record of the patent. They have the records for all the patents. So why don't they have the record for the Le Prince patent for the motion pictures?
Man.
And then that same year, um, Adolphe was found shot in the face in the middle of the woods when he said he was going hunting, and then he was found with a bullet hole through his head. And they said it was suicide.
Oh my.
So
Man.
and then the wife went into looking into what was going on over here in over in France, I should say, with his brother and stuff, and turns out there was never a police filing of a missing person. So either his brother killed him for the estate, for their mother's estate, or Thomas Edison killed him so that he could be the first to have the motion picture, or they did it together. Maybe there's like this big thing. There's no evidence saying that Thomas Edison had any kind of connection or communication with LaPrince's brother, but
Hmm.
he was a very strong competitor with the motion picture thing, and I think Thomas Edison knew he was on the heels, and that if he wanted to be the sole inventor of it, that something needed to be done sooner rather
Wow,
than later. So,
that's
but
wild.
either way, I don't think LaPrince's son committed suicide because it's really hard, like back in those days, to shoot a rifle in your face.
Hmm.
It's really hard,
Yeah,
you know?
man. Well, let's face it. I mean, things like that in the people going missing, people being shut up, and stuff like that. We still talk about it happening in today's world.
Yeah.
So back then, it was a lot easier for them to put out a report in the paper or whatever. Suicide. That's it. Nobody's going to look into it. There's no YouTube rabbit holes to go down. That's the end of the story. And then it still goes on today. So they could easily have done something like that, and it's just sort of swept under the carpet.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, and there's no pictures. I mean, it's freaking the early 1800s. I mean, there was the cameras and stuff, obviously, but there's like, they don't, for evidence and stuff like that. I don't think they were at that point in time where they were actually taking pictures of dead bodies. So
Mhm.
there's no way to tell like how that gunshot wound even looked.
That's wild.
It just says a gunshot wound to the face,
Hmm.
you know,
Man. I mean,
which I don't know. And it was with a rifle.
mhm.
So
That's so interesting, man. I mean, this conspiracy, how out there is it? I mean, how many people are talking about this? I know a lot of people will be like, "Man, it happened 100 years ago. So what?" But
right, right. I mean, I just I mean, who knows? Who know? I mean, I don't know if there's many people talking about it, or anything like that. I don't know if it's, circulating at all, but I was, I heard about this LaPrince guy, started looking into him, and I was just like, forever I've known Thomas Edison as being like the inventor of it, and now I'm hearing that this other guy made a camera and actually used it for two videos before Thomas Edison even had his.
that is wild, man. I mean, that would completely change history. Like if something like that came out, like that would change the perception of Thomas Edison completely.
Right, right. And Thomas Edison was super loved at this time. He did create the voice recorder,
Hmm.
right? And back then people they didn't even understand like what he was talking about when he was trying to explain it. And
That's wild.
his original intent wasn't even to make it that. He was trying to like I think he was trying to be like the first phone kind of thing. And he ended up just he was able to capture the speaker's voice and was able to play it back. So
Hmm.
when he was trying to show it off, like people were like, what the fuck is this kind of
Yeah,
thing?
yeah,
But once they got it, like he was becoming like a rock star. And I
yeah,
think it
man.
got to his head to the point where he's like, I gotta be first at making all this shit. You
Yeah,
know what I
I'm
mean?
untouchable.
Yeah. So he started the Edison
Whoa.
company and he had like several people working for him. So technically, like if you want to get down to brass tacks and everything, like he did not, even his own motion picture camera wasn't his. It was this William Kennedy Dixon guy. And I did look up because Kennedy is like it's a double last name, Kennedy Dixon. That's a double last name. I
Mhm.
did look up to see if he was related to the Kennedys, and he's not.
Oh, that would be interesting
That
because,
would have been super interesting.
but I
I
mean,
tried to follow that, but
they say he's not, but who knows what to believe now, man?
right, right.
I mean, they can just say no, he's not, but he might be. That's the thing with this stuff. It's that's wild. That is an
Yeah.
interesting conspiracy, man.
Yeah. It's
Wow.
it caught my so this what happened with this is so me and the family went on vacation and we in New York and we
Hmm.
stayed on Lake Ontario, which is fucking
Oh,
phenomenal lake.
nice.
I will
Yeah.
say it looks like a fucking ocean, but it's not, obviously. It was really cool. We went out on a kayak. The kayak sucked though, and I don't know if it might have been just because I'm fucking so heavy. Like, I'm 225 pounds, dude. Like I'm the size of Mike Tyson, technically. I'm 5'10",
Whoa.
225 pounds. I'm the size of Mike Tyson.
Yes.
Um, so I kept capsizing in my kayak. I kept, but anyways, we ended up in like a 2 hour drive out to from where we were staying out to Niagara Falls. It was fucking beautiful, first of all. And we did this Cave of the Winds thing where you're able to stand under the waterfall and shit, the American waterfall, not the actual Niagara Falls, but they bring you through this like theater. So they give you like this like rundown of the invention, like the what was happening to Niagara Falls before it became this beautiful landscape that we see today for tourism and stuff, and then how that's where electricity was born from. That's where the lights came from. Buffalo, New
Hmm.
York was the first city to ever be lit up. And as
Interesting.
so they're showing it, they're giving this like little like short like 10-minute documentary thing, and they bring up JP Morgan, and he was one of the investors, and then Westinghouse. And I know there's something weird with Westinghouse. Westinghouse and GE were fighting for a long time, and they were, and Westinghouse isn't as big of a name as GE is, but JP Morgan, there's some fucking odd things about that guy, and I was like, huh. And then they talked about Nikola Tesla and Thomas Edison at the same in that and all that stuff. And
Hmm.
um, I think Nick, I think Nikola Tesla was robbed for a lot of his ideas too because he worked under Edison,
Hmm.
and then they had this falling out. But later on, Nikola Tesla did say that they have respect for each other and stuff like that, that they're not like enemies or anything. So um, but yeah, I watched it and I was like, JP Morgan. I don't like him being involved in this, I don't like this.
Hmm.
So I started researching Thomas Edison and I started looking into his stuff. I started looking at the invention of the lights and stuff like that. Started looking into Thomas Edison, and then I found Louis LaPrince, and then that's how it just cracked open for me from there.
Wow. That's wild, man. That's super interesting. And
Yeah,
I love, especially like American history, like those early days. Like, there's so much cool stuff. But again, it's like all of history, like anywhere in the world. How do we know what to believe now? Because
right.
they can change. We've seen like in front of our eyes the last couple of years how the mainstream media and the people that are supposedly in charge have changed narratives right in front of us, like blatantly on the news, like that we watch now. Like, can you imagine the things that the lies and the misconceptions and everything that was going on back then?
Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, the the media is an interesting entity in itself, honestly. It's like today's age of media. Like, so, I mean, for a long time, our media wasn't allowed to sell us propaganda in the United States, and then Obama got in office in 2008 and I can't remember the bill or whatever, but now the media was allowed to propagandize their shows and stuff. Um, so I will say, like, one of the latest things that I saw, which actually every time it involves this guy, which is our new commander in chief starting on January 20th, Donald Trump, um, which I love this guy. I voted for him all three times. Um, Mainly because he's fucking hilarious. He's a comedian before
He
he's a
is, man.
president. He's a
Yeah.
comedian and a businessman before he's a president, and I like a lot of things that he does. I mean, obviously, there's things that about him that I disagree with, and stuff like that. I mean, nobody's perfect. Not every not I don't think there's been one president that I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
everything that you're
Yeah.
saying is
All
exactly what I
all
want.
politicians lie.
Every single thing.
Yeah. All
Um,
politicians lie, man. Like all of them. They all do it. It's just
oh yeah, for sure. And it's human nature to lie, you know.
hmm
Unfortunately, it sucks that it's that way, but like everybody has lied, whether it's about a little thing to make
hmm
themselves look better, to make themselves not seem as such a like narcissist and stuff.
hmm
Um,
white
it's
lies and yeah.
there's so many different reasons, but the media recently, before the like leading up to the election, right? They took a clip of one of his speeches and they put it to him. They said that he was talking about women reproductive rights, so the abortion stuff. And he said what in the clip that he showed, he's saying, you know, he said, we're gonna do it whether the women like it or not. And he did say that, but he wasn't talking about abortion. He was talking about the illegal immigrants. He goes, he was talking about, you know, um, having a border reform and stuff like that. He goes, we need more secure borders and stuff because we want to protect our women and children, and we're going
hmm
to protect our women and children. We're going to protect our women whether they like it or not. That's what he said. We're going to protect our women. We know our women are strong, but we want to protect them anyway, and we're going to protect them whether they like it or not. That's what he said. And then
hmm
they used that small little clip
Yeah.
on fucking national news to say that he was talking about abortion rights.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think now, whatever side you sit on, because I know it's going to annoy some people, but it is what it
Yep.
is. Whatever
Yeah.
side you sit on, you can see now, you must be able to see now how the media can manipulate and change. And they might show you a clip of a half an hour interview or whatever. And that clip is like, it's just, I don't know how to explain it, but it's just completely
Yeah. You
out
gotta,
of context. Or
wherever they're getting the clips from, go to that and watch the entire thing.
you got to watch the whole thing. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's like if you
Yeah.
watch this clip of this podcast now, you're gonna be like, "Oh, these guys are getting political," and we are. But we've
A
talked
little bit.
we've
Yeah.
talked about Jake Paul and Tyson. We've talked about all sorts of stuff, you know. But
Yeah.
if it's you've got to watch the whole thing. You've got to see the
Yeah.
whole clip,
Abs
and that and
and that goes for articles too. Don't read the headlines, read the whole entire article,
100%.
because a lot of times like the abortion stuff, if you read, you'll see that it had nothing to really like there's no good like explanation because I also haven't read it. I've had somebody explain this to me. So like later on, there was a teenager in Texas that supposedly died because she couldn't get an abortion. When come to find out, it was about malpractice. So like the doctors fucked up.
hmm
So
Yeah, man. Yeah,
the
yeah, for sure.
so if you actually read the article, you'll be more informed than just
I,
reading headlines.
I'm guilty of it myself. You see a headline, you're like, "Oh, look at this! Look what they're saying," and it's like a sentence or something that's just there to get you angry, to get you to click, and you're like,
Yep.
"Oh, do you know what they're doing? Yeah, they're doing that now. Yeah, yeah." And everyone's like, "Oh, they're doing that," and then the real story is, yeah,
Yep.
that's the way of the world now. Unfortunately, we're all guilty of that a little bit. I am, but
And I have been too, I will say, but
yeah,
I've fixed myself to where when I see something and I'm just like, oh,
yeah,
I read it. I read it.
yeah, yeah.
You
You
got it.
got you got to see the
You
full
got it.
story.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Because I
absolutely.
think I think because this will upset a few people as well. I think with Trump, like that thing he talking to Joe Rogan for 3 hours, and you're seeing a real person there. You're seeing a real like he might say some things that you don't agree with, but on the whole, you see that he's a real person. Like you're seeing a real, and I think that was massive. Obviously, the Joe Rogan interview was huge.
Yeah.
Um, so, and I think that's
Yeah.
what people relate to.
Yeah, and he had the vice president on as well. And he did ask Kamala Harris to be on, and I wish she
hmm
did because I feel like it would have helped her out.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, if you know, I mean, or it could have not. It might have made
Yeah,
it worse for her
and
too
maybe why she
at the
didn't do
same
it.
time. True.
Hmm.
But her people told him that he needed to fly to her and it could only be 45 minutes. And he's like, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
He goes, I need like 2 or 3 hours. He
Hmm.
goes, that's where you find out who people are, is
Yeah.
after that first hour and they start loosening up and stuff.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, he talked to JD Vance, and JD Vance seems like a kind of guy that I'd be friends with. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And that's
Yeah.
and
Down to
that
earth.
was dope because you don't get to hear that side of politicians and stuff like
Hmm.
that. So it was pretty. And he was on, and JD Vance and Trump both were on Theo Vaughn's show,
Yes.
which so they put he
He
put
cracks me up, that
up.
dude.
He does. I actually asked him to be on my show, but
Oh
I haven't
man,
heard back.
that would be amazing, man.
That
Yeah.
would be amazing.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, and you just get to see like a more personal side of them. Now, I will say I don't like. I'm not one of those people that like is all about the politicians that have seemed to fall in line with my views. I'm not all about this actor or this singer because they sing and they act good.
Hmm.
They're still normal people. I mean, I'm like, wow, they're cool. They get to do this cool shit. But at the same time, like they're still regular people on the other side of it. And I'd prefer to hear like real conversations. And
100%.
the Joe Rogan and the Theo Vaughn podcast has provided that for
Hmm.
specifically for Trump and Vance. And I
Hmm.
think that helped them win. They reached an audience that they probably wouldn't have been able to. Um,
100%. And I think going forward, like you can guarantee the next run up to the next election in all around the world, there's going to be people talking on podcasts, and that is going to be the main way that people get themselves out there. Going
yeah,
forward, 100%, they're all going to do it, man.
yeah,
You're going to need,
yeah.
yeah,
I
100%.
would have, I definitely would have liked to see how it would have gone with Kamala Harris, though.
I think that
I
would have
wish
been
she would have done
interesting.
it.
I
It
think
would have been, yeah.
I'd like to see Biden on there as well.
That would have been a hard one to listen to just because
yeah,
there'd be so much it would be mostly Joe Rogan talking.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's hard to watch Joe Biden at some time, obviously, because he's
Um
an older dude. He's clearly
yeah.
not been well and stuff, and it's hard to listen to that. And it's hard to be horrible. You know what I mean when he's an old dude like that. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean he had two brain surgeries, man.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
it's I mean Trump's 70. He's
hmm,
also way too old to be having the position, I think. But I personally think he was the better option of the two. And I hate that fact because it's like, I picked the lesser of two evils, and
you
like
got to pick someone.
American women are losing their minds because Trump is
Uh,
president. Everybody thinks their rights are going away, which they're not. He just, if like I'm gonna say this, like I've said it on my podcast, the best way for women in America to keep their abortion. I mean, it's not going away anyway completely. There's stricter limits on it and stuff. But the best way for you to keep it the way that you want it is to go to your state legislation and vote on it.
mhm,
That's the only way that that's the best way that you can do. And that's the way that it's supposed, like, because they're spending government money on it, like it's being taxed as a bill, to be a federal um recognized amendment or whatever the fuck you want to call it.
mhm,
Um,
yeah,
right,
yeah, man.
I guess, you know. So all you got to do is vote on it in your state legislation. And JD Vance even said on Joe Rogan, if you live in a state where you're already past the limit of being able to get an abortion, but the next state over has more of a leisure
Mhm,
um abortion thing, you can go to that state, get your abortion, and come back to your home state without repercussions. He
mhm,
said that on Joe Rogan, if you
yeah,
ever decide to listen,
yeah,
instead of criticizing clips.
mhm, yeah. Yeah, it's a difficult one, man. and it's one that I'm sure we're probably going to get some negative feedback now because
It's
it's
all
just
right.
it's just the way it
I-
is.
hey man, it's opinions. I don't
Yeah.
believe in my personal opinion, if it has to do with me, I want the child to be born. Like if it's mine, I want it to be born.
Hmm.
Obviously the only things that I think abortion should be necessary for is rape, incest, or well, I mean, I feel like incest would be rape. I don't think anybody, well, I mean, I don't know. Who knows? There's weird people out there.
Oh, for
But
sure.
if it's to save the life of the mother, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's the only thing. And a lot of these girls are out here like, oh, I've had 10 abortions. Like, the fuck is wrong with you? I feel like that imbalances you in your brain chemically because you have like even when you get the abortion, you still have like you're still getting the hormones of the pregnancy, and then all of a sudden it's sucked out. Like that does something to you psychologically. Like it has to.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Like there's it's still damaging to
Yeah.
you regardless. You know what I mean? And I mean, I don't know.
It's
I
a
think,
difficult, it's a difficult one. But
yeah, for sure.
yeah.
I I think I don't know. I think a lot of things. And
It's cool, man.
I do think there should be a time limit. I don't think we should be like 7, 8, 9 months pregnant when we get these abortions. Like
Hmm.
that's my opinion.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
I think really is this is difficult. I didn't think we was going to go down this route tonight, but it really
sorry, sorry.
it's okay. It's okay. Free speech is what we said, brother. But
Yeah,
it's like teaching people that to not get in those situations. I know sometimes there's obviously circumstances where people are there's a lot of cruel people in the world and that's gonna and bad things are gonna happen. That's horrible. And that's a separate thing. But in general, like teaching people that the right way to do things is not to do that, you know? You don't want
yeah,
to be in that position in the first place. So try not to get in that position if you can. I know
yeah.
it's difficult because things happen and we're all humans and that's life, but yeah, that's as
I'll say this. Every action has a reaction, right? Everything has there's a consequence to everything.
mhm.
Um, so if you're gonna do the action, you have to be capable
Yeah, you gotta
of
take yeah.
receiving the reaction,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
You
We
should
all
be
know
able
it.
to you should be able to deal with the consequences of your own actions. And this is for men and women. If you do not want a
Yeah.
kid, just don't have sex.
Hmm. Yeah, 100%, man. Yeah.
Don't do it. Like
Yeah.
that's the best way to not have a child.
Yeah.
Listen, I know it's great. Trust me, I know it's great. You know, but there's things to do to not have that happen. So do
Yeah.
those things. Do those things. And
100%.
for men, if you don't ever want a child, there's a little thing that you should be doing,
Yeah. Chop it off, man. Chop it off.
you know? So yeah, don't chop it off.
Don't
Don't
chop it
fucking cut
off.
it
I'm
off.
joking. I'm joking.
There's just a little cord
Don't
there
do
under
that.
your knee, underneath your ball sack. Just,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. I don't know how I
it's
feel
pretty
about that,
easy.
but
I mean, I won't get it done, but
no.
you know, I also
They
don't care
said
if I have a kid.
they said to me after my third, they was like, I don't know if they do this in the US, but the nurse was like, "Do you want to have that operation done?" And I was like, "What? You're writing me off? I'm free in. What are you talking? I want a little soccer team, man."
Well,
But
I ha
I
my
think I am done though. But yeah,
yeah, my third was with a different woman, so than my first
yeah,
two, and it was her first. So I don't think the nurses in the U.S. would have even if
yeah,
it was both of our thirds. I don't
yeah.
think she would have said it. They would have said
I found it
anything.
very strange when the nurse said that to me. To
That
be honest,
that's
I was like,
fucking very weird, dude. That's
"Really?"
wicked weird. They're like, come on, we need some more money.
I don't know if that's a normal thing or I don't know if anyone else has experienced that. Let me know. But
I know they ask after they ask the woman if they want their tubes tied after like their it's
interesting.
either the third or fourth.
Yeah,
So yeah.
man, brother. I didn't think we was gonna go here tonight, but here we are.
Here, every conversation with me is an adventure,
I love it. I love it.
and we go through the wilderness and there's a whole bunch of different trees and animals to look at and to discuss.
That Thomas Edison theory, that conspiracy that you told me, that's very interesting. And it's like there's certain figures like that are protected, that were maybe protected and pushed forward back in those times as well, for whatever
Yeah,
reason.
for sure.
Do you think we still have that today, where there's figures that are pushed forward and that carry that same sort of power in today's world?
Yeah. I mean, I think I mean, the most recent evidence to that is for the US anyways, Kamala Harris, you
Hmm.
know, she wasn't she didn't go through like a thing like fucking A, why can't I can't freaking think of words tonight. There's supposed to be some like thing where they pick who their next
Hmm.
Democratic running for president, and everybody, like, as soon as Joe Biden's like, I'm done running, they were just like Kamala Harris.
Yeah,
And then all the liberals and Democrats and shit, they're all like, yeah.
yeah.
And like, yeah, and they're like, we gotta stop this man for democracy. And I'm like, you just fucking fucked with democracy right there. You're supposed to be given several choices to pick. You're not supposed to be told who you're fucking voting for.
Hmm. Yeah.
The fuck?
It was, I mean, it's certainly been the weirdest period election
Right.
that we've ever followed. Like,
Yeah. I mean, even Trump had to do it again. Trump
yeah.
had to he had to get the nomination
Hmm.
again, so he was debating Nikki Haley and all them and stuff like that. And then they were like, all right, let's go with Trump again,
Yeah. Yeah.
which I'm glad they did. I mean, he's pretty, I mean, he tweets too much and he talks a lot of shit, but he's a masterful troll. Sometimes he says things that are ridiculous, and I'm just like, man, cut the shit.
He's a
But
great dancer.
he is a great dancer. He is a great dancer. Um,
He's got some moves, man. That is for
yeah,
sure.
John Bone Jones did his dance after he won the last night,
Yeah. And he gave him his belt.
and he gave him his belt. Yeah, uh, yeah. So I mean, but Trump's racist. Trump's racist.
Ah,
But yeah, no, you know, it's interesting. I think I like his policies better. That's
yeah.
why I
And that's what
voted
he
for
should
him.
be. Yeah.
That's what, the his policies are more of what I liked, and
Hmm.
just, talking shit about half of the country when you're running for president isn't a good look.
Hmm. Yeah.
And,
All, all I hope now is that everyone, whatever side you're on, because I really don't think there should be sides with political stuff. I know
me neither.
some people stand by their political and whatever laws or whatever they want to pass, they'll stand by that. And
Hmm.
I've never understood that in the UK, in the US, anywhere in the world, where you're like they say, blue no matter who, or red no matter what, whatever they say. Like, and people are like that. They really are very I know humans are tribal in general with everything.
Yeah.
We even see it in the paranormal community. There's tribalness, and I don't know. I've never really understood that, and I don't like that. My opinions change every day. I could change who I'm supporting every day because
Me too. Like, so my favorite thing to say, like, if I have to label myself, I'm conservative, but I'm not Republican. Like, I don't assign myself to the right, like, officially, but they're most of the ideology, yes, I agree with and
Mhm,
everything. But I also agree with things that are on the left.
mhm,
There's things that I agree with, and I did vote for Obama the first time. The second time I didn't vote at all,
mhm.
because I was like, I don't want to vote for either of these fucking retards. Um, but
That's how
it's
I was with the last UK election. I didn't vote because I
yeah,
just didn't want any of them.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks, to only have. I mean, there's more than just two parties over here. There's actually five, and we just don't get to hear from the other three because they're not funded enough.
Hmm.
which is a shame. But I mean, you know, I, you know, I, I love my country. Um, and I love everybody in it. I do think that some people are more ridiculous than necessary, and I think a lot of people have mental health, and I feel like a lot mental health issues. And I mean, there's a lot of problems in this country as well as many other countries. Every country has issues that they're trying to solve.
Hmm.
Um, and I think fighting with each other is not the best way to, I mean, because it's really the government that we need to be fighting, not each other.
100%. Yeah, we should be keeping them on their toes. We
Yeah.
really should. But
And the thing that I like about Trump too, like the first time he ran, he didn't take the money that he was paid for president. He put it back into the government.
mhm,
So, and that's what he's doing this time too. Like he's not getting paid to be president. He's not taking any of that money that they are providing him to be the president.
interesting.
Um, so yeah, and he did say that he's going to release the Kennedy files too
Oh,
if he becomes
please,
president. So,
please. Well, they've told us that UFOs are definitely real this week. We've
yep,
heard.
I heard that. I heard
So,
that.
and
Yeah.
and not a lot of news reporting on it, to be honest, but which I find strange. But that's what they've said. And
And they come from the ocean.
and they come from the ocean. Yeah, yeah. So us crazy guys that have been talking about it for years and looking into it for years, we
Yeah,
was right all along.
we was right. We was right. Fucking Nazi aliens.
Yeah, 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 man.
The General Bird was correct.
Yeah, 100%. Brother, brother,
Yeah,
we've got deep tonight, man. I knew we would. We always do. That's what it's all about.
absolutely.
You're a legend, man. I love you, brother. You
I
are
love you too,
always
buddy.
welcome on Let's Get Freaky. This is obviously not the last time. You're welcome anytime, man. And it's always a pleasure talking to you, brother. It's always open, honest. We get deep and we touch on subjects that can be a bit dangerous, but I love it. Thank you very much, man.
Dangerous is my middle name.
Can you tell the listeners where they can find you and your shows?
Abs Absolutely. So, Where the Weird Ones Are podcast, it is on Amazon Music, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, as well as YouTube. And if YouTube strikes it down, it goes on to Rumble. Um, you can find me on Instagram where underscore the weird ones are. You can find me on Facebook. Um, I have a morning show called Weird Java in the Morning. I do every Sunday. It's live on YouTube. If you can't catch the live, you can always catch it later on. So it stays on my live part of my YouTube channel. So that's every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Central, and whatever time that is for the UK, I can't tell you.
I don't even know.
Um, I,
I live on
yeah.
East. I live on Eastern time now, brother. Anyway, so
So yeah, so that the morning show we do like this day in history, we do a couple articles of news, and we've my co-host, which is a good friend, he's more on the left, and we've decided not to do cover any political news in that show just because we disagree on things. So we first of all, we'd rather not argue amongst the, I don't think we would either way,
mhm,
but we decided not to do anything political for the morning show, so we stay away from that. If people want to watch it, it gives you a break from the fucking political bullshit that's out there.
yeah.
And we do a missing persons alert. So every week there's a missing person segment, which is actually done by my good friends Rachel and Heather from Like Mother Like Murder, which is if you're into like true crime stuff, that's a good podcast to check out as well. Love them very much. And David provides us with a creepy video of the week. So we watch a creepy video and then we get into some interesting TikTok videos that we see. So we play a lot of TikTok videos, which actually today, this morning, I did show the Mike Tyson cheeks in the locker room from Tik that I got from TikTok. So
They're everywhere right now. brother.
Um, so yeah, and then I got hot sauce and I got fucking coffee. I have supplements coming. I have shit ton of merch, like different kinds of t-shirts and shit. So yeah, if any of your listeners are interested in being on my show and telling their creepy stories, they want to talk about conspiracies or, stuff like what we talked about tonight on your show, they can hit me up at where the weird ones are at gmail.com. The website too, is where the weird ones are podcast.com. You can contact me on the contact page. You can tell me that I'm fucking ridiculous because I believe in things that you don't, that you opposite believe. You can talk shit. You can do whatever the fuck you want on the website. I don't care. Tell me how you really feel. That's totally fine. But that's where you can also find the hot sauce, the merch, and the coffee. And the coffee is actually pretty good.
Oh, I've got to get
So,
some of that, man.
but but
I
yeah.
love my
So
coffee,
that's it. Oh
brother.
shit! I should say, fuck, man. The coffee won't ship out of the U.S.
Oh, what? Oh,
Yeah,
bro, you
I
got to
don't know
sort that
why.
out. You got to
It's
sort that out,
so
man.
so it's a company in Texas, and it's weird because they import their beans from South and Central America, but they won't ship the coffee after they've roasted it and shit to out of the U.S.
That's not on, man.
So,
That's
but
cool, bro. I'll get some. We'll find a
yeah,
way. We'll find a way. We'll get it. I'll get it on the
yeah.
black market. Brother, you're a legend, man. You've got so much cool stuff going on. People need to check you out. Head over, give you 5 stars because you're an awesome dude. And yeah, thank you very much, man.
Thank
Go-
you, man. I appreciate you.
You're a legend, brother. Guys, if you have enjoyed this episode, make sure you share it where you can. That is a great way to support us. Give us both 5 stars because that really does help us. It gets us out there to more people that enjoy these freaky conversations like we all do. So yeah, do it. Brother, I love you. Stay
Love you
safe,
too, buddy.
stay weird, and keep it freaky as well. Thank you very much, brother.
Thank you.